Hello again, this is Carter Machiavelli. I realize I only have 12 minutes and 30 seconds of recording time left before my storage space runs out. This is bad. Anyways, today's topic. What if people diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia are actually correct? Now you see, I'm going to have to cut this very short. So, you see, there is a criteria in the DSM-5 and the ICD-10 when diagnosing paranoid schizophrenia, which relies on finding patterns in the things paranoid schizophrenics say. Let me give you 3 examples. So, the first one being, our tap water, our drinking water, is poisoned. The second one being, our government is watching over us, our government is spying on us. The third one being, the drugs used to treat paranoid schizophrenia and generally many other illnesses as well are basically poison. So, when we look at these sentences that they say, these are characteristical sentences paranoid schizophrenics say. Now, the interesting thing about these sentences, these concepts that they have in their head, is that they appear out of nowhere. So it's not like people diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia have their own inner circle where they come up with these weird ass conspiracy theories and tell them, and collectively tell them to bring down some kind of government or system or something. It just appears in their head as they develop the disease. Now, because, let's take the drug LSD or any kind of psychedelic drug, for example. So, every LSD trip is subjectively different. So, me, I would have a completely different LSD trip than you would have, or any other person would have. It would be completely subjective. Now, this is because, as far as I know, as far as my theories go, many people, even science hasn't understood LSD fully yet. They are maybe at 20% of understanding it. Now, the way I see it, LSD increases neuroplasticity between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, meaning that it creates neurological pathways so that your subconscious can communicate with your conscious and you develop consciousness, so to say. You gain more consciousness, you gain more awareness. In the ideal way. There are, of course, bad trips, and bad trips can also mess things up, but that's usually the experience for a lot of LSD users. They gain more consciousness in a sort of way. For example, there are reports of people who have taken LSD that have stopped doing drugs because of it. Now, let's skip over to a very special psychedelic drug, which is DMT. DMT is the hormone or chemical or something that, according to theories, gets released in you when you are born and when you die. Also in special cases like close calls, like almost dying, like this experience of almost dying. I don't know what is called in English right now. So, now, the interesting thing is about DMT also causes these hallucinations. And the fascinating thing about this, the people that experience the hallucinations on DMT that get blown into this full trip, like 3 hits out of the pipe and they were like the full breakthrough, they all, like not all of them, but the majority of the people hallucinate the same things. They see the same creatures, the same entities in their hallucinations. And if we take this phenomenon and relate it back to paranoid schizophrenia, they essentially see the same concepts. Which means there could be some truth behind it. And let's pick these 3 concepts, these 3 theories, and let's check if there is any truth behind it. So, regarding the drinking water poison, let's say in the US there is said in the US that in a certain time, I think it was the 50s or the 60s, after some guy became president, the drinking water was infested with fluoride, so they added fluoride to the drinking water for whatever the fuck reason. And according to theories, this has consequences on the health. So this may or may not be a sort of argument to support the theory that our drinking water is poisoned. But of course, this is like the very conspiracy theory range, right? And we want to have more valid facts, more provable facts. Now, here in Germany, for example, the water that comes from the tap water is kind of recycled, so they are cleaned by using the water cleaning institutions, the water cleaning factories, and they clean out all the dirt and all the shit in it. Now, a thing that does not clean this out is, for example, sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, pharmaceutical drugs, and other illicit drugs. Which means there can always be a subsidiary amount of pharmaceutical drugs, aluminum, and so on in the drinking water that comes out of the tap, which may or may not be poisonous. There are not enough studies on this, but it's safe to assume that it's not perfectly good for the health. So this is a valid argument to support the thesis that our drinking water may be poisoned. Now, second one real quick, I only have 4 minutes of yapping left. So, second one, the government is watching all over us, the government is spying on us and so on. Quick reference to Edward Snowden. There are government officials and other people that have worked in the government that explain how it fully goes, so it's not like they're spying exactly on you, but they use data gathered from you to defend against terror. So this is an argument to support the theory that the government is spying on us. Also, if we think about the future, that the EU wants to implement a digital currency where all our currency is managed digitally, kind of like in a similar fashion to Bitcoin, but much more like a digital currency, is likely to assume that our financial transactions will be much more easily controlled and spied upon by the government. So there's that. These theories, these facts, support the theory that our government might be spying on us. The third, were the pharmaceutical drugs that may or may not be poisonous. So, to make my point clear, I'm going to tell a story from my own psychiatric experience, where I got dosed haldol peridol, which is an old school antipsychotic which is not like really that much used anymore. But I do remember that after being dosed a high amount of it to get rid of my psychotic symptoms, so as the psychiatrist told me, I had trouble speaking because my cheeks were stuck. So I was dripping saliva out of my mouth and I couldn't move anything. My arm was stuck here, couldn't move my muscles. So they had to give me more drugs to get loose, different drugs to get loose, rid of these side effects. This does not happen in natural healing products, in natural plants, healing plants, for example. They do not have that much of side effects. They do not have that much of a healing effect, so it's not that strong and effective, but on the contrary to that, they don't have hardly, if all, side effects. So this is also what Big Pharma is based on. Giving drugs that give side effects to sell drugs that treat these side effects, which lead to side effects, and so on. The endless chain of money making. And of course, this concept supports the theory that the drugs used in pharmaceutical context are poisonous. Therefore, regarding these three theories, the arguments that support them, and the fact that doctors, psychiatrists, like here in Germany at least, are basically just physicians, physicians that had a psychiatric teaching after that, and basically all just read from the DSM and ICD-10 to diagnose patients. How would they know if the water is not poisoned? They just read what is said there and diagnose based on that. Therefore, maybe we should give a little bit credit or give a little bit of insight into the things paranoid schizophrenics are saying all the time. Thank you for watching.